Hello everyone, this is Adhish. I'm a grade 10 student from Mumbai. Today's problem is find the group. The difficulty level of this problem is easy and you only need to know loops and base 2 integers to be able to solve this problem. So in this problem we are basically given a base 10 integer n. We need to convert it to base 2 and find the maximum number of consecutive ones in the binary or base 2 representation of n. For example, let's say n is 6. This means that the maximum number of consecutive ones is 2 because it's these two positions. So that's why the answer is 2. And if you consider another example, let's say 7, then in the case of 7, there are 3 ones which are consecutive in the base 2 representation. That's why the answer would be 3. Similarly, for 8, only 1 is consecutive in the base 2 representation. So the answer would be 1. For 9, again, only 1 is consecutive in both the cases. So that's why the answer is 1. Even in 10, the answer is 1. And in 11, the answer is 2 because there are 2 consecutive ones in the base 2 representation. So basically, the first step to be able to solve this problem is obviously to convert the number into base 2. And to do that, we can just use a simple loop. While n is greater than 0, we can add the digit n modulo 2 to the beginning of the list, or you can add it to the end and you can reverse the list in the end. That's the first thing which we do to convert n into base 2. Then the second thing which we can do, so if you didn't get how we convert n into base 2, what we are basically doing is, let's say we have 11, then we are taking 11 mod 2, so that's 2, that's 1. So 11 is basically, if you do 11 percentage 2, you get 1. So that's why we add 1 to the beginning. Then we divide 11 by 2 to get 5. Then 5 percentage 2 is 1. So that's why we add 1 to the beginning. Then we divide 5 by 2, so we get 2. 2 percentage 2 is 0. So we add 0 to the beginning. And then we do 2 by 2, which is 1. Then 1 percentage 2 is 1. So we add 1 to the beginning. And we divide 1 by 2, which is 0, and we are done. So basically in this way, while n is greater than 0, we can take n mod 2 and add it to the beginning. And in that way we can get the base 2 representation, and you can verify that this works for any integer n. Now to find out how we can basically find the maximum number of consecutive ones in the array, and to be able to do that, let's maintain a variable current which represents the current number of consecutive ones. Let's maintain a variable answer which represents the maximum number of consecutive ones. So in our loop, whenever the current value in the loop, so let's say that the current element is ai, I mean like in the base 2 representation, let's say we store the values in bits. So if the current value bits of I is 1, then we'll do current plus plus, and we'll take the answer to be the maximum of answer with current, because we know that so far these many number of ones have been accumulated. And otherwise, so if bits of I is 1, we do this. Otherwise we'll basically do answer is maximum of answer comma current, and we'll set current to 0. So note that we can just set current to 0 because we know that there are 0 ones so far. Like the moment we get a 0, the string of consecutive ones is broken. That's why we set current to be 0. And this is basically the loop for all I going from 0 to the length of the base 2 representation of n. And in the end, we print the answer. So that's basically the full solution. Now I'll show you the code which does the exact same thing. And it will be in C++, but in Python, this code which I just showed you works perfectly fine. So you just need to have a loop going from 0 to the length of the base 2 representation, or basically you can just go for all bits in the base 2 representation if you store the base 2 representation in an array in Python. So basically that's the full logic. So now in the code, I take in the value of n and I store the digits in this vector digits, or let me just name it to bits. So I push back n percentage to the vector bits, and I just reverse bits. So this actually does the exact same thing. Like over here, I appended it to the beginning each time I appended the new digit to the beginning. But over here, I basically store it in a vector, so that's why I reverse it in the end, and that gives the exact same binary representation. You can verify that. Then basically for each, I maintain the variable current and I maintain the variable answer. So for each I going from 0 to bits dot size, if bits of I is 1, we increase current and we increase the value of the variable current, and we set answer to be the maximum of answer comma current, and otherwise we basically set current to be 0, and then in the end we print the answer, and that's basically the full logic. Now I'll just submit this code to see that it gets accepted. So as you could see, my code got accepted. I hope you liked this problem and my solution for this problem. If you had any doubts, do leave them in the comments down below. And if you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up.